Guys, a moment like this does not come around very often. Right here, what you see on the screen is the latest upgraded, updated, and refreshed 2021 Toyota Hilux pickup truck. Toyota makes world debut of the truck around the world. Although it's not coming to the United States, I wanted to do this video because the Hilux is the most popular truck in many markets, including Australia, Thailand, and even Europe. And some of the changes that they're making on this Hilux may come to a Tacoma in the future, although we don't know for sure. But this is why I want to dig in, show you guys all the specs, and show all the styling features that Toyota is adding to their trucks, because they don't update their trucks very often. And at the end of this video, I'll also show you a SUV, the 2021 Toyota Fortuner, that's also based on a similar chassis, and it's kind of a forerunner in those other world markets, including Asia, Australia, and Europe. And this right here is the 2021 Toyota Hilux Invincible edition. These are the images that also came from the European site from the Toyota, and I think that's just great. Calling the truck trim the Invincible is just awesome, and I think it draws on the heritage of the Hilux. In many markets, the Hilux truck started back in 1968. So of course it has a lot of history, a lot of durability built into the product. And well, let's look at some of the other items around this truck. Since we're looking at the tailgate area, the taillights have been updated, as you can see here. So it's kind of this double C. And this may be where Toyota styling is going for their trucks. So don't be surprised if you see, the next Toyota Tundra or the next Toyota Tacoma with kind of a similar style. Although different markets around the world have different tastes, different requirements for towing, for payload, for look and feel. So all of the styling may not transfer directly. But another interesting point I want to make here on the tailgate is that the middle brake light is built into the tailgate handle, basically. So if you are having some cargo in the bed and it's blocking the cab, the light that's usually would be kind of on top of the cab, the Chimsel light, in this case it's in the middle of the tailgate. So if your tailgate is closed, you will still see that. And the camera, the backup camera, is actually off center. And I usually don't like this, but Toyota has been doing it on several of their vehicles, including the Land Cruiser that's available in the United States. So when you're backing up to a trailer, you kind of have to know that the camera is not directly in the middle of the tailgate. It's offset a little bit. Let's keep going and look at the bed. This particular one has a bed liner. It looks like a plastic drop-in bed liner and a couple of hooks. Not a lot of hooks. And we had a home edition video from one of our viewers, Simon, from Asia, who actually did a full walk around of his Hilux. And one of the things he was mentioning about his Hilux is that there's not a lot of tie-down points in the bed. So you have to add your own if you kind of want more capability for tying down, especially in these versions. I'll show you another version, the Workmate version, a little bit later. But it looks like Toyota at least is trying to give it more utility, usability, and it looks like there is another little hook in the front of the bed in this version to support and help that. Of course, there's cup holders in the tailgate, which is very important. We all know that. There's also a sports bar available here and a tonneau cover that closes. Here's another look at another sports bar. Here's a side profile of the Invincible. This is obviously a crew cab. It's also available as a shorter access cab with a slightly longer bed. This is a more premium version. And look at these Fender Flares. Yes, they're redesigned. They're a little bit, they kind of match the styling around the world. If you look at this Fender Flare, it also kind of reminds me, at least, of the Toyota RAV4 wheel arch. So there's a little bit, some cues are coming across different versions of these trucks and SUVs. And of course, the cab mostly remains the same. What's changing is some of the trim, like the side step, the Fender Flares, some of the wheel options, and on and on. Here's a close-up look at the grille of the new Hilux, and Toyota also has updated the engine. The top-of-the-line option currently is the 2.8-liter turbo diesel 4-cylinder, and it's been around for a long time, but now they're boosting the power on this engine and offering, a higher power option. And the power goes up to about 201 horsepower, and torque goes up to about 369 pound-feet of torque if you convert the kilowatts and the newton meters to our rating. And that's a lot of power and torque if you can compare it to a diesel engine that's available here in the United States. For example, in the new Chevy Colorado diesel, which is also a 2.8-liter displacement. The torque pretty much matches 369 pound-feet of torque. That's a good torque rating. And then, of course, 201 horsepower is actually higher than the Chevy Colorado offers here. So I think people around the world will enjoy the additional power. They boosted the horsepower by about 15%, and the torque went up by about 11%. So not really huge increases, but still really welcome increase. And also, of course, they changed the kind of the shape of the grille. They changed the headlights, the lower part of the bumper. So a lot of changes are coming to this new Hilux. And here you can see a close-up view of course, the fog light area and this design feature, which is on the fender flare. Here's another look at the tonneau cover in the back. Obviously, it's an accessory. This one happens to be a sliding tonneau cover that kind of disappears into that storage area in the front. Here's another look at this different version of a sports bar in the back. And a lot of Hiluxes around the world use this style, and you can also put additional off-road lights at the top. That's always a welcome feature. Once again, this is the Invincible. Here's a quick look at the new 2021 Toyota Fortuner. This is the SUV version, kind of based on the same platform. It's their mid-size SUV that has 3 rows, and now it has the latest style. It has a 2-tone style now with a blacked out roof in this case and a different body color, which is in this case white. It has the same power options. It has latest features like you can wave your foot underneath the bumper and open the tailgate, a feature that's been around on other SUVs. And it has that kind of a tough look, I think. I think this is stylish, but also pretty tough looking. And obviously it has some off-road utility built into it as well. You can kind of tell it's using the same mirror. This side mirror is also on the Hilux, and it looks very similar to some of the vehicles that are Toyota vehicles that are available here in the United States as well. Here's just another quick look at the headlights. Obviously they're styled. They have some aerodynamic devices around them to kind of help the air go around the vehicle, and Toyota is very careful about this. They usually put little vortex generators to make sure that the air kind of hugs the vehicle as it's going at higher speeds. The Australian press release also talks about their updated suspension system. So it's now tuned for slightly better ride when the truck has less load in it, not fully loaded, and also on really rough roads like a washboard road. So they have retuned the suspension a little bit, but capability also goes up a little bit. Now the 4-wheel drive version of the Hilux has a maximum towing capacity of 3,500 kilograms, which is approximately 7,716 pounds. So this is a really good rating for a mid-size truck, which is what this is. Very comparable to the high ratings for mid-size trucks here in the United States. But I think that 3.5 ton, 3,500 kilograms is kind of a common rating overseas for a lot of SUVs and a lot of pickup trucks. So they're maintaining that, but for a 4-wheel drive version, 2-wheel drive version of the Hilux has a slightly lower towing rating, and I'm not sure why. Here we see the technology update. These trucks now getting this 8-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, JBL stereo system is all available. And now you can also get these luxury touches like the door card with ambient lighting. In this case, it's blue. You can kind of see it poking through here, which I think makes the experience on the truck feel just more premium. The cabin is not changed much. They reorganized a little bit some of the items on the inside as far as the center console. Of course, the 8-inch display. The gauge layout is mostly the same. Here you see the other example of the premium JBL stereo system. Here's just a couple of other looks at the truck with the access cab version, so a shorter cab and longer bed. So here, and another color. This color is pretty crazy. Here's another version. This is not the Invincible, but it's more sleek. It's more of a street version of the Hilux. Another color, you can kind of see a better view of the taillights and how the taillights have been updated for this view. And finally, here's kind of a work version of the truck. And around the world, these Hilux trucks, actually in the commercial market, they're very big. Here you can see the longer bed version with tie downs, additional tie downs along the bed rail. Of course, they also sell chassis cabs, basically versions with no bed. So you can put another flat bed version or, a box or anything like that. Here's another version, another look at the two-wheel drive version of the new Hilux. Really updates around the truck, suspension, engine, styling, all of those things are updated. Of course, 4-low, 4-wheel drive, 4-high and limited slip differential are all there. And the rear seat, is nice. It may not be as big as we're used to here in the United States in a midsize truck, but still a very nice setup. So there you have it, guys. This is the updated 2021 Hilux. It's available around the world. In Thailand, it should be available within a month or two. Same thing in Australia. The press release says it's going to be available around August timeframe. So it's coming very soon. And guys, if you actually purchase one, doesn't matter where, you can send us a video walk around of the truck, and you can send it to us at tflstudios.wetransfer.com. Basically upload your video there, and we call it the home edition. So we can actually receive that file and also re-upload to this channel, TFLnow, or some other channels like TFL Off-Road. So thank you very much, and go back to tfltruck.com for all the latest information on the latest trucks like this 2021 Toyota Hilux.